Hello my dear children. Today I am going to discuss with you a very important topic in our physical chemistry part, that will become a thermodynamics. And this thermodynamics we are going to learn in our chemistry, because everybody knows that this thermodynamics in physics and in chemistry is somewhat different. If we are talking about the thermodynamic in chemistry, we have to consider from system to surrounding. But if we are discussing thermodynamic in physics, we have to discuss thermodynamic from surrounding to system. Some notation get changes. So we are going to discuss this thermodynamics in our chemistry. So welcome my dear children, this is Mr. Sudhir, and please welcome to my channel Sudhir Sir Chemistry. And I am going to discuss the thermodynamic part in a very simple and lucid way. And that to be, I want to cover all the part, whatever the part in this thermodynamic they want to ask in IIT mains, advanced, even in the NEET. So we are going to discuss about thermodynamics. First of all, this term thermo, if you want to check here thermo, this will be called as a heat. Term dynamics, this dynamics means it will indicate movement, so motion. So motion of heat, movement of heat also we can say, or we can say this is called as a movement of heat. Now this movement of heat, either it will take place from one part to other part and from other part to one part. So this exchange of heat we are going to discuss, movement of heat we are going to discuss in this chapter. To understand this chapter, some principal terms are there, or we can say some important terms are there related with this chapter, and that will be called as a system. This is the one of the most important part, and the second important part in this chapter we are going to learn about surroundings. So what is a system and what is a surrounding? Here anything part which is under investigation, the part which is in investigation called as a system, and other than the system, the part other than the system are called as a surrounding. So I should say a part other than system is called as a surrounding. So I want to give some examples for this particular system and surrounding. Consider that we are in the lab and we are performing some experiments in the lab, chemistry lab. So we are considering the test tube, and in this test tube we have kept some chemicals on it. Let us say we kept here as acid, then we are putting on this one is a base, this one is acid was kept here, and then we kept here as a base. Now reaction is taking place between acid and base and it forms salt and water. So what we are going to see, we are going to see the reaction which is taking place inside the test tube. So this complete test tube is the system for us. This test tube is the system, because it is a part under investigation. Means in this test tube, this is the part. Means completely test tube is a part which is under investigation. So this will be considered as a system. But other than this test tube, the remaining part means the complete part of the lab or that building or that complete universe we can say. Other than this test tube, the remaining all part, it become a what? Surrounding. So just we can say one more very important point here. This system plus surrounding, it will make it as a universe. One more example we can consider instead of lab and all. Suppose we are doing some work. As we are doing the work, let us say my example, I am doing the work on the board. So this complete board is under investigation. So I will consider this board is a system, but other than this board, the remaining whole part become about universe. So it is a simple way to understand system and surrounding. But we know that if we are considering this test tube as a system and other universe is become a surrounding, so in between the test tube and the universe surrounding, we are having some kind of boundary. So all the system and the surrounding are having a kind of boundaries. They are having a kind of boundaries, and these boundaries are maybe either this boundaries is a rigid, or it is a real, or it is a imaginary, we can say rigid, real, imaginary, or it is a diathermic, or it is a adiabatic. So this is a very important point we are going to learn in this topic. What is that? The important term is system and surrounding. They should have a kind of a boundary. This boundary, it may be what? It may be a rigid boundary, real boundary, imaginary boundary, diathermic boundary, or adiabatic boundary. What is meant by diathermic boundary and adiabatic boundary? The diathermic boundary means it is a boundary where exchange of heat will take place. I want to rub this part. I want to explain this one. So these boundaries, if you are going to consider here as a diathermic boundary, so this is a very important term to remember again. Diathermic boundary means exchange of heat takes place. Exchange of heat takes place. And adiabatic boundary means where no exchange of heat takes place. So this is a point we have to remember. Boundaries, it may be diathermic or it may be adiabatic. Diathermic where exchange of heat takes place, and adiabatic where exchange of heat does not take place. So with this part about the system and surrounding, the further part we are going to see now, that becomes a system. So now what is a system and what are the types of the system? So this is another topic in this chapter, that is types of system. These types of system is of three different types. First one will be called as a open system. First one will be called as a open system. Now I will tell you one example with a diagram and all. Suppose we had one of the vessel is there, and this vessel will contain what you can say the water, and we are going to heat it. While heating, what will happen? Initially the water get become warm. After some time the water pressure on the upper layer, it will start to evaporate. So in this system, what will happen here? Exchange of heat, that is energy, and exchange of mass, that is the water going to evaporate. So the system in which both means, I should say, the system in which exchange of both means what? Mass and energy takes place. The system in which exchange of both mass and energy takes place are called as an open system. But this point is very important, sir. What is how the exchange of energy take place? Because exchange of energy will take place in two forms. This exchange of energy will take place in two forms. The first of the very important form will be called as, it may be a heat form or it may be a work form. And for this exchange of mass and energy, the boundary which one we are going to consider here, that boundary should be a diathermic boundary. If this boundary we are considering as a diathermic, then only exchange of heat will take place. So it is a system in which exchange of both mass and energy takes place, and exchange of energy will take place in two forms. The first form is a heat form and other form is a work form. So that will be called as an open system. The second part we are going to see about a closed system. The second one we are going to see about here as a closed system. Now, it is a system in which exchange of energy takes place, but no exchange of mass. Now we'll go to example of this close also. Let us consider one of the vessel which is having a frictionless piston which was kept here. It is a piston, but it is a frictionless piston. And the wall present over here, this wall present over here, it is a diathermic wall. Obviously exchange of heat will take place. Now what happened here, in this case, this is a frictionless piston and it is a closed system. In this case, the whatever the content present here, maybe it is a gas and all, this cannot go out, or it cannot liberate outside, or it cannot evolve outside. So there will be no exchange of mass. But in this case, exchange of energy take place. How we can consider? Suppose we are going to heat this vessel, and we are considering here the water is present here. What will happen? It will start to boil, it will start to warm, then it will start to boil. The vapor will push this piston upward. It is pushing the piston outward, but the content present in the vessel does not liberate outside, does not goes outside. So there will be no exchange of mass. But by pushing, the piston will move up. Means in this case, what you can say, exchange of energy take place. But did you saw beta? Just now I told you, exchange of energy take place in two forms, heat form as well as in work form. So in this case, these vapors are pushing the piston upward. Means in this case, exchange of energy take place. But exchange of energy take place in which form? Either it is in the heat form or it is in the work form. So my answer is that exchange of energy take place in which form? It will be take place in work form. So it is the second part, that will be a closed system. Now let us come for the third part, that will be a isolated system. It's a very important and simple one compared to this part. And third one is that we are going to see about the isolated system. Third one, types of system. This is a isolated system. It is a system in which no exchange of mass as well as no exchange of energy, because it is a one of the container, we can say closed container, and the wall present over here is a adiabatic wall. These walls which we are going to keep here, the wall should be a adiabatic wall, and from this adiabatic wall neither mass nor energy going to exchange. So this is called as an isolated system. Our example is that thermos flask. For this kind we can say the example is a thermos flask where no exchange of mass as well as energy take place, but up to a certain time, because once the time limit passes, definitely that we can say the energy transfer of energy will take place. So better we can say, for example for this part we can say as a thermos flask. So these are the three types of the systems are there in our syllabus that we have to discuss types of system. Now the second part, in this one we are going to discuss about variables, that is thermodynamic variables. Also we can call it as a thermodynamic parameters, thermodynamic properties. There we are going to discuss about some properties called as extensive properties and intensive property. So I am going to discuss that part in my next video. Thank you very much.